Attack on Titan chapter 138 is breaking minds and the internet again, and who knows how much more my little heart can take.
My emotions! My emotions!
Putting aside the fact that this chapter was extremely sad, it was also extremely confusing. Is this a dream? Is this a different reality? And most importantly, was any of this even real? The short answer is yes, and the full explanation is coming right up. Hello everyone and welcome back. I am your friendly host with a funny accent, and today we're going to talk about all the important things that went on in this insane chapter. If my accent is a bit too much for you, please remember I added subtitles for all of my videos to make them as accessible as possible for everyone. Because this video is about to get extremely strange, I just want to clarify that everything today is only my own personal opinion and interpretation. There is always a chance that I could be terribly wrong, but even if I am, I still promise you will enjoy this idea. So don't worry, I do have answers for you today, and by the end of this video, you will have them as well. But we will not stop there, oh no, because in addition to this review, there will be a follow-up video explaining everything about the concept of time in Attack on Titan using physics. And also, I will provide a scientific explanation to some of the most burning questions this fandom has ever had, including this chapter and much more. So yeah, a lot of things are coming and you don't want to miss any of it. If you are new to my channel, I would really appreciate your subscription, and if you enjoy my videos, don't forget to comment and let me know. Of course, you are all invited to my Discord server where we can all laugh at my silly accent together, and also talk about Titans. But now let's jump headfirst into our latest chapter. Our chapter, The Long Dream, picks up right from the rumbling shutting down all over the world. And it's nice to see that Historia's baby won't be the last baby on Earth after all. As we remember, that happened the moment Zeke died, and probably because Eren's connection to the paths was destroyed. Falco brings the group down to the ground for a big reunion. Falco, Gabi and Pieck all get to meet their families, and even Annie's dad is alive and she runs to meet him. The group tries to figure out if Eren is dead, and at that moment Mikasa gets one of her headaches. She remembers the time Eren told her she was having those headaches because she is an Ackerman, and since she was activated, she was following the host of the Founding Titan like a slave. This was already proven to be wrong in the discussion Eren had with Zeke. Mikasa can't believe that was the last time they will ever meet. Take notice to the official translation, which is a bit different from the unofficial one. Eren's huge titan has already disappeared and Armin's colossal titan emerges from the blast zone. And look, Reiner and also the giant Hallucigenia managed to survive. I was actually a bit worried for this little guy, because let's face it, Reiner just can't die. But seriously, this organism just won't die, even after this explosion, what brings Connie and also us to ask what the hell is that thing. If that wasn't enough, it seems that Eren is not dead, and behind Armin, Eren's colossal sized titan emerges. Eren's new titan looks pretty much similar to the front half of the huge titan, only now his head is not dangling looking all creepy. Size-wise, their titans looks pretty much the same. But I do ask myself, how come Eren's titan is this size now? Which titan are we actually seeing here? I'm guessing this is the Founding Titan, but it also uses the Warhammer's power in order to stay away from the nape. So let me know what you think about this. I see some great ideas going around in my comments lately, and I would love to hear your opinions. Moving on, our group are facing a huge problem now. They can't let the organism come in contact with Eren. Who knows what will happen if they did? But they also just used their most powerful weapon, and if they can't kill it, that means they should kill Eren instead. Mikasa is having another headache, trying to understand how everything turned out this way, while Pieck and Falco say goodbye to their families and Annie finally get to see her dad from the distance. It seems that the Marleyan officer decided to stop the fight they had before, and we even see the soldiers helping Eldians. After so many years apart, Annie and her father are about to be reunited. But as they walk towards each other, a mysterious smoke covers the entire place. In only a few seconds, and actually in one single panel, the group realizes that this smoke is the same one Zeke used in Ragako village. From this moment, the chapter becomes very fast-paced. You can really feel the sense of urgency between the panels. Everyone around is already exposed, and Levi knows exactly what is about to happen. He tells all the Titan shifters and also Mikasa to get on Falco and to get away as far as possible. The group says goodbye to their loved ones as they take off, leaving everyone behind, including Jean, Connie, and Gabby. That was such a sad moment. Connie and Jean, two brothers in arms, holding each other, entrusting the rest of the mission to their friends. That's what it means to die as a member of the Survey Corps. Connie reminds Jean about the night of the entrance ceremony, and with a smile, he tells Jean he is the reason they ended up staying in place that day, joined the scouts, and ended up with the job of saving the world. With Connie's last words, and with Annie and her father almost reaching each other, the smoke covers everyone, and in an instant, every alien on Fort Salta turns into a Titan. The group watches this takes place from the air while Reiner and Armin are still on the ground, and Annie is thrown from the explosions and lands next to Onyankopon. Just a little side note here. This is actually the first time we have ever seen Marleyans exposed to the Titan spinal fluid and this gas. I mean, sure, we always heard it won't affect them, but we haven't really seen any proof for that. But now we know for sure. The same goes for Ackermans, which we didn't really know what will happen if they get exposed to it. But apparently our predictions and also Levi's were correct, and as far as we can tell, it doesn't affect the Ackermans as well as the Titan shifters. Back on Fort Salta, the Titans begin to jump down. It seems that the organism has just summoned an army. But no worry, our shield is on the job and he will not let it go past him. And here is my stupid edit to illustrate how this fight will go down. I told you it's going to be stupid, and now we also understand why Reiner didn't die earlier. He just needed to suffer some more, right, Isayama? And what is better than watching your friends, family members, and even your own mother turn into Titans? This is honestly heartbreaking to watch Reiner witness all of this, and with Pieck and Annie joining the fight, Reiner is thinking to himself, what must we do to receive our reward? At that point, I can't imagine Reiner wanting something more than to end all of this. The shifters fight off the organism and his Titan army while Armin keeps fighting Eren, and while Mikasa gets another headache. Levi tries to shake it out of it, but Mikasa can't take any more of this. We see the memory flash of young Eren sleeping beside the tree, and we hear Mikasa saying, I want to go back. I want to go back to our home. The panels and the scenes around changes, and this is where our chapter becomes much more trippy as we find ourselves in a little cabin in the woods. Let's get philosophical. First thing to notice is the clear difference from the panels of this chapter, which were slanted throughout the entire chapter, but as soon as we go to this reality, all the panels are straight, except for those of Mikasa's memories. And in order to start understanding things better, we will start with this. Once upon a time, I dreamt I was a butterfly, flying from one place to another. To all intents and purposes, a butterfly. I was conscious only of my happiness as a butterfly, unaware that I was myself, sleeping. Soon I woke up, and there I was, myself again. But now I do not know whether I was then a man dreaming I was a butterfly, or whether I am now a butterfly dreaming I am a man. This is called the butterfly dream, and it is considered a philosophical question. It comes to show us that when we are dreaming and feeling the dream is so real, we no longer have the necessary perspective to know if this is a dream or if this is reality. For us, this is the reality right now, and our other life may just feel like a distant dream now. But what happens when you suddenly become aware of this situation? This is what's happening to Mikasa right now. But don't be confused by the word dream. The butterfly dream only comes to represent our state of mind and how we perceive reality, but it doesn't have to be about an actual dream. Have you ever heard a theory about all of us living inside a giant simulation? Well, this theory relies on the same principle of the butterfly dream. So, it could be a dream against reality, but it could also be, for example, a simulation against reality. And this is where Mikasa's case is a little bit different, because in Mikasa's case, this is reality against another reality. So yes, In my opinion, this is not an actual dream. I believe we are witnessing a different reality, just as real as the one that we know. Only this one was never actually shown to us. It didn't happen in the Attack on Titan world that we know. But let me be clear, I also don't think these are our Eren and Mikasa. I mean, it is them, only not the ones that we know. They had different experiences, and that makes them different. I don't think Mikasa is physically jumping between realities, but I do believe she is retaining memories of other Mikasa in other realities. These are the moments she gets her headaches, probably because she is witnessing several realities at once. Mikasa wakes up in a little cabin in the woods. Eren is standing next to her. She looks confused. She asks when she fell asleep. She feels like she just had a long dream. You probably recognize this because it is the exact same thing our Eren said to Mikasa when she woke him up in the first episode. Suddenly, Eren realizes that Mikasa is crying. Again, exactly like Eren did in the first episode as well. But this is not the first time Mikasa had this feeling, and that is also where we are going to find some more answers. So let's get to the fun part where everything becomes much more clear. For that, we need to go back to Mikasa's OVA, Lost in a Cruel World. And just a warning for anyone who is not familiar with this OVA, there will be spoilers. In this OVA, it seems we are seeing a different world, a world where Mikasa's parents never got killed and Marley never invaded Paradise. The episode starts with Mikasa's parents getting killed, but it soon jumps to the events of the first season when Mikasa thought Eren had just died. The first thing to notice is the butterfly that appears throughout the episode, which could be a perfect representation of the butterfly dream we just talked about, marking the invisible line between a dream and reality. Looking at the butterfly, she hears a voice telling her she could start over. She can choose any place she wants, and in this world, everything will be exactly as she wants. However, the voice also warns her that she will never be able to stop Eren's death. From that point, we jump back to young Mikasa and we see that things are a bit different now. In this reality, the kidnappers never arrived at her house. Instead, they were attacked and killed by wild dogs in the forest. Later on, we can also see the same dogs refusing to hurt Mikasa, and that is showing us that Mikasa indeed has some sort of control over this world, although she doesn't necessarily know about it or even remembers it at this point. Instead of losing her parents and Eren saving her, she gets to meet Eren when he visits with his dad. We already know that the world map of Attack on Titan is upside down, but in this world we can actually see Mikasa writing a letter upside down. Also important to mention that Mikasa's mother is pregnant in this world, and with her mother's pregnancy we can also see more of Mikasa's strange powers. Every time Mikasa thinks about wanting to see Eren, her mom's condition becomes worse. That causes Grisha and Eren to come and visit more often, and that is making Mikasa's wish come true. In the manga, this happened 3 more times until her mother's condition got so bad that Grisha told her they need to move closer to his house. And by that, Mikasa's wish to see Eren comes true again, but she feels bad for it, and she is starting to notice she is the reason. She apologizes to her mom, but of course her mother doesn't know why she is sorry. This scene of Mikasa asking her mom to forgive her was actually in the anime, but it felt so out of context, so a lot of people just missed it. All Mikasa wants in this world is to see Eren's face, and every time he is not near her, she feels like she can't remember his face anymore. That makes her wish to see him come true again, and in return, her mom's condition is getting worse every time. Later on this episode, Eren tells Mikasa he is planning to leave the walls in an airplane that his friend Armin built. This was changed to a hot air balloon in the anime. On the way to meet him, Mikasa encounters a strange character called the Mirror Man. This figure somehow knows a lot about Eren and Mikasa. He tells her that no matter what world she would go to, she will never be able to save Eren, because Eren carries death inside of him. We can clearly see that something unnatural is in play here. He tells her that if she wants to go and see for herself, she first needs to kill him. That makes Mikasa trigger her Ackerman powers and stab him with a fake knife. Mikasa runs to meet Eren and finds Armin crying, and indeed, she finds out that Eren had just died. Fragments of memories go through her mind, and she finds herself back on the battlefield. The only thing left inside her after this is the feeling of a long dream. A terribly sad dream. A long dream. Sounds familiar? Just like Eren had in the first episode, and just like Mikasa had in this chapter. When she came back to herself, she couldn't accept Eren's death as part of this reality, and in that exact moment, Eren's Titan came and rescued her. With that, Mikasa's wish was answered again, but this time it happened in our storyline, and not in an alternate reality. She knew Eren just died, but just a moment later he came back to save her. Of course, she didn't know it was him at the time, but it doesn't make it any less strange. Is it a coincidence, or maybe it was actually something else? Maybe Mikasa do have some sort of effect in this world as well, but her only wish is to stay by Eren's side. She said it loud and clear, that is the only thing she wants. So, that is the only thing we got to see coming true. We just don't know at what cost. In the other world, it affected her mom's condition. But in this world, Mikasa's little brother or sister were never born, so who knows if her wish, simple as it may, somehow affected this world as well. Back in the alternate reality, Mikasa seems confused and she is asking if it's okay for her to be here right now. But pay attention that this Mikasa and this Eren are not actually talking about the same thing. It is clear that Mikasa feels out of place in this world or reality. She feels she has to be somewhere else. But this Eren thinks she is talking about the fact that she and him are now in this cabin. In this reality, things took a different path, because Eren and Mikasa decided to run away while they were on Marley. They decided they want to live together for the remaining 4 years of Eren's life. We get to see a new memory of Mikasa and Eren running away, and we can see they are both wearing the same clothes they had in Marley. In this reality, Eren couldn't bring himself to kill all of humanity, or to send Historia to hell. So the only option they had was to run away 2 months ago. And Eren is sure Armin is looking all over for them. But now we get a very important piece of information. It seems that Mikasa was the one who suggested the idea of running. We can even say it was her wish, maybe. And again, we see that Mikasa of this reality is the main reason for those changes. And a wish of going away with Eren in this reality did come true. This takes us back to the panel of her wondering if things could have turned differently if she had chosen a different answer back then. Maybe all she had to do is just wish for it, or simply ask like Mikasa in this reality did. So Mikasa that we are now seeing in this reality did pick differently, resulting somehow in a different reality to take place. Now pay attention to Mikasa throughout this conversation. It seems that she remembers everything now, and we can clearly see it from the expression on her face. Eren then asks her to promise him one last thing, to throw out her scarf after he's gone, to forget him completely and to live a long happy life. But we know by now that Mikasa will never agree to forget Eren's face. That promise is going to be hard for her. The next panel is actually 4 years later in this world. I believe that Mikasa and Eren did live together until his final moments. And to be clear, I don't think this is the first time they have done this. They have done this countless times in different realities. We have hints of repetition all over the anime and manga, especially from Mikasa. For example, we have this beautiful ending song when we can see a lot of knives all around. I believe each of them represents a different reality where Mikasa had to pick one up in order to save her Eren. Her headaches can be the time her decision split into 2 realities, or maybe just her witnessing 2 realities at the same time. Her first headache happened after Eren's mom was eaten, and right after that Mikasa said, "This again," like she is recognizing this scene. Also back when she thought Eren was dead, she asked herself if she needed to start all over again now that she lost her family in this world. Back then, her words didn't make much sense, but after this chapter, they actually do. The only difference is that Mikasa is somehow aware of those realities, and they come crashing inside her mind, and that is also the cause of her headaches. If you think about it, how did Mikasa know Eren is inside the Titan's mouth? Simply because she did all of this before. Not in this reality, but in other like this one. That means that the panel that I talked about a year ago can also be a different pair of Mikasa and Eren going through the same thing in their reality. And that means that there is some sort of connection between Eren and Mikasa, and I'm not talking about the obvious one. I'm talking about a connection beyond time and space, something hidden. and I really hope we will get some answers for that next chapter. Now let's take a look at this anime. Tell me, do you recognize it? I bet a lot of you can't, and for a good reason. So believe it or not, this is Full Metal Alchemist, and some of you didn't recognize it because this is an alternate reality too. So check this out. In this story, Ed is sent through the Door of Truth to 1937 Germany in our world. He finds out that he can't use alchemy there because obviously it does not exist in our world. He tries to convince his brother that he is from another world, and they often talk about the option of the other world being just a long dream. And soon after, Ed finds himself questioning his own past life. Maybe he was just sleeping all along. But here where things start to get even more similar to Attack on Titan. While Ed is stuck on our world, his brother Al, which is now a real boy, keeps looking for his older brother. He finally finds him while sleeping and connecting with his old armor, only on our world where Ed is currently at. This comes to show us how the anime used a dream to introduce a different reality. Only Attack on Titan does this in a much more complex way. Unlike in Full Metal Alchemist where there are only two worlds, I believe here we have a different case. Here we have multiple and possibly endless realities like we seen from Mikasa's OVA. Some of those worlds are probably similar to the reality we know from the story. Some may be very different. And who knows, maybe our Earth is one of them as well. It's also different because in Full Metal, Ed is physically transported to the other side, while in Attack on Titan it doesn't work the same way. In Mikasa's case, she is able to see and probably share memories from the other realities. And in the case of the paths, it is a place beyond time and space. Therefore, people that have been there were not transported there magically, they were in both places at the same time. The Door of Truth in Full Metal Alchemist is equivalent to the Path Tree in Attack on Titan. In Full Metal Alchemist, it holds the truth inside it, and on the other side of the door, there is a place called Earth, which is our world. So does that mean that Mikasa is retaining memories from different realities? Or maybe each decision she makes somehow creates two or more possible realities without even knowing? I personally like the second option better, because it will go nicely with Mikasa being able to make her wishes come true somehow. And also, the branches of the tree can also represent actual paths that have been taken. One branch splitting into two others, just like one reality split over two different decisions. We go back to our main storyline, as we can see that the panels are again slanted to remind us that we are watching something different again. And with her friends fighting in the background, she says that she is sorry. She can't forget Eren. She puts on her scarf and tells everyone Eren is inside the Titan's mouth, and she is about to kill him. Everyone works together and Levi sends a thunder spear right through the Titan's mouth, breaking his teeth and allowing Mikasa to go right through and face Eren. And in probably the most heartbreaking scene in Attack on Titan, Mikasa raises her sword and with a loving smile she slashes Eren's neck. While in the other world, we see the familiar phrase, "See you later, Eren." Mikasa holds Eren's head gently in her hands while he is slowly closing his eyes. And for our last panel, we get one of the most anticipated moments, but in a very dark way, when Mikasa holds Eren's head and gives him her first and also her last kiss. And I do think it could be a bit better without Ymir being all cringy looking from the sidelines. But jokes aside, I teared up in this moment. Mikasa and Eren were never my favorite ship, but I got to admit, this moment absolutely broke my heart. So yes, Armika fans, I must say that you did win eventually. I didn't expect that. But I also know this is a bittersweet win for all of us as we finally say goodbye to our main character. Of course, this is Attack on Titan, so I knew we couldn't ask for a good ending. And Mikasa finally expressing her feelings only a few seconds after she kills Eren is a beautifully sad development. And that is the end of this amazing chapter and our extremely long review. What did you think about this chapter? Did you like it? Let me know in the comments. Also let me know what you think about my idea. Is it a different reality? Or is it just a long dream after all? Don't forget that I'm going to release a follow-up video soon, a video that will actually explain the science behind everything we talked about today and much more. Thank you so much for joining me today and sitting throughout this entire video. It really means a lot to me. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and most important, come say hi to me on social media and help me build an wholesome anime community. That is all for today, my Titan-loving friends. I love you all and we will meet again real soon. But until then, let me just remind you all to dedicate your hearts to humanity inside and outside the walls.